at DroneDJ. Sorry, missed you all last week, especially with the Mavic 3 Classic release. Unfortunately for me, the last week of October and beginning of November is actually my largest expo and conference season. Just wrap that up and glad to be back. So we're doing a much delayed coverage on the Mavic 3 Classic. I'm sure all of you have seen all the technical specs from last week's product release.
I'm sure you saw all the technical specs last year as well.
Well, there you go. When it was leaked. So I was able to fly this actually only last week. We did get a review model before, but there was a glitch with actually the controller they sent to us and firmware.
Do you want to hear what I did?
Yeah, so we weren't able to fly it until they actually released the product.
I got mine. Yeah, I got mine, and it was all great and handy. I updated the Fly app on accident, and it went to the production version, and I couldn't fly it for 2 days.
I know. There's always a challenge getting a review model.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's what happened to us too. But you know what? After flying, like last week, we had a couple of days of really, really nice weather for the fall, right? We're talking about, 15 going up to 20 degrees. We did have a few windy days too. So we were able to actually get air to air. So if you check our Instagram, we were able to actually get an air to air picture. So we got the Mavic 3 Enterprise in the air and the Mavic 3 Classic, both in, gusting wind up to 50 kilometers an hour. And we got a really stable image of the Mavic 3 Classic. So if you're thinking 2 drones in the air, right, in that wind bouncing back and forth, and we used the 7 times optical zooms to able to get a really stable image. Honestly, I was surprised. Flight performance-wise, I had complaints about the original Mavic 3 when we were flying earlier this year. Just flight performance, it seemed a little, it was maneuvering too drastic. It wasn't smooth. So all of that is gone. Actually, now I really enjoy flying the Mavic 3 Classic and the other Mavic 3 series. So it seems like through firmware they fixed it out. Plus,
yeah, I felt that too when I first got my Mavic 3, and then I just remember like you would try to make a turn, and it would kind of like get out, like it would just like turn too drastically, like real quick. Yeah, there would be like a limit to where all of a sudden just like it turned more. And then I got the Mavic 3. I'm like, oh, this feels different. But like I haven't really done like S turns and like a whole bunch of weird like crazy maneuvers before until like, so I tried it out before and it felt the same, I guess. So maybe there must have been
you mostly do pictures. So it's not that crucial if you do photos.
Yeah, I don't, or it's like, or all I do is like sideways stuff. Like I do a lot of strafe. I don't do a lot of like turning when I do video stuff. So like it wasn't until it just took a year between me actually doing that to realize, oh, I guess they did fix that in a firmware update.
They did. Especially video, the movement, it is a lot more organic and smooth.
It feels more like it doesn't feel exactly like the Air and the Mini, which are like, I found it was really fun just to do a bunch of turns.
Yeah, but it's more stable. I mean, the wind does come in, right? When it's a bit more windy, you do feel it's more stable. Yeah. Plus, my favorite feature, I've been complaining about DJI removing, tripod mode for a couple of years now. They brought cruise control. So right now, cruise control is available for Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3, and Mavic 3 Cine. So only the 3 regular Mavic 3. So no enterprise lineup, and I'm sure they're gonna make it available for the other drones in a few months.
I'm sure
they're trying to give a competitive edge to the Mavic 3 line right now. But I have to say, cruise control is my new favorite mode. It's just like, I mean, imagine like when you're driving. So you drive to a certain speed, right? You switch on cruise control and it just goes at that speed. That's exactly what's happening with Mavic 3. It's much better than even the old tripod mode. So you fly to the speed you want and then you turn on cruise control mode. You can still control the drone, right? You can still go up and down, maneuver, turning it, and it's great. And you can work on the camera. So you don't have to worry about pushing, your throttle input. Am I pushing it too much, right? Is it going too slow? I loved it.
Be able to match the speed of like a boat. So like I did a thing about like 2 months ago. We were tracking a boat, we were tracking an ATV, and just be able to be like, okay, just like you hold your speed at this and I'll match your speed. And then be able to hold that speed through and not have to like finally like move the controller a little bit, that joystick to get that speed would be really, it's just super nice. Would have made that job so much easier because we missed so many shots because we like pushed it a little too much and it sped up, so that's super cool.
But what's interesting is last week, I've been in the drone business for over 10 years now, and last week someone called me and helped me to find actually another new business sector to explore. So it was actually from a top athletes performance management company, right? So what they do is, they help to train Olympic class athletes. And they were using ground-based cameras to kind of study, like you record how the athletes are actually performing their body movement, timing, etc. And then they get better feedback, right, on improvement. So they started using drones, both indoors, so in Olympic site swimming pools as well as on the running tracks. And one of the challenge was, we had to look up how fast do people swim, even the top swimmers, and they don't swim that fast, right? So the challenge is they wanted to have very consistent speed just to follow at the one overhead angle of the athletes, and then they just analyze the video and the pictures afterwards on the bodily movement and then make recommendations. So it was actually very interesting with cruise control. You can finally do the cruise control mode and follow at a specific speed. And one sec, let's see what's happening. Did we lose Kirk?
Oh no, I think my battery just died.
Oh, on the camera. Yeah, it just froze on the frame. We can still hear you.
Oh, I'll just grab another battery.
So while Kirk is stepping away, let me just open up the pricing on Mavic 3 Classic. So if those of you are interested, let me share my screen. And share screen. There we go. So here we got the Mavic 3 Classic price. We've got the one with RC controller, and we also have the regular Mavic 3 with the Fly More combo, and then the Cine Premium combo, which both have the Fly More kit as well as the filter set, and the Cine combo also comes with the RC Pro controller. I have to say, I'm pretty surprised at the price difference. You would think that for the same class of drones, they're all Mavic 3 drones, all the same primary sensor, flight controller. But if you look at the Mavic 3 Classic with N1 controller, it's less than $1,500. And then if you look at the Cine Premium combo, it's $4,600. That's a lot in difference.
Yeah, so hopefully you can see me now this time. Yeah, I was using the ones that's supposed to be charged with USB-C, and they weren't.
They don't last that long.
No, they really. It's supposed to be like 30 minutes, but like whatever. So hopefully this one lasts the rest of the show, but we'll see. The price is pretty good. Like if in a vacuum, this is a great drone. Like compared to like not taking away the Mavic 3, taking away the Air and the Mini. Like this is it's a phenomenal drone. And the price point is right where I predicted it.
Under $1,500. Yeah,
around $1,500.
Yeah.
So
I hope they release one that's just the drone without the controller.
I think they do. Yeah, I think they do. I think that's like $1,300 or something like that. It might not be on their website. It might be on their Amazon page, I think. Yeah, drone only. Yeah, $1,369.
Yeah, still on that page.
So I could totally see someone like buying a Mavic 3 and then being like, well, I need another one, but like I don't need the zoom camera. And they could just pick up a Mavic 3 Classic, and then you have like the same video wise, you have the same drone, and then you just need to spend one to get that zoom camera, one extra on one to get the zoom camera. So it's a pretty solid price point for that. And I think if you go down to the Fly More kits, I think there's 2 different Fly More kits. If I remember correct. Maybe not. I thought there were 2.
This is the one with 1 Fly More kit. You can do the filter sets after.
Okay, I thought there was 2. I thought there was one with the bag and one without the bag, which I thought was awesome because I would totally buy more cameras, more propellers, more cables, more chargers, but I don't need another bag. So I thought I saw that somewhere, and I thought I saw it in a press release, but apparently maybe not. But now I have I use one of the now that I have like the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Classic, which I'm actually got to return the Mavic 3 Classic. I was using just like one of the bags. It's just like, here's all my chargers.
Well, we're using just the camera bag because we have to fit, like I like to put all my drone equipment in one bag. So we put the Avata, the Mini 3, and the Mavic 3 in there. So I have to use an actual camera bag to fit everything in there. So I never really used the DJI bags. One thing about the Mavic 3 Classic is, so if you have, let's say, the Air 2S, right, and you want to just go up one step in terms of the camera quality, then it's great. You can buy just the drone. And you can still use, let's say, the N1 controller from your Air 2S, and you can put, your tablet or run a different, either your phone or different kind of screen on it. So if you really want to upgrade your camera with minimum spend, then you can do that under $1,400, which is a great option.
Yeah, and do you want to just talk about whether or not we like which one we want more? Because
no, which one you want more versus which one I want more.
Yeah, we're on different sides, mostly because we do different work. I mean, I do some video stuff, and that's fine. But a lot of what I do, just for fun, is photography, and that zoom camera just gives you such great, such better photos because you get a little bit, we get that compression out of it. And usually, I fly further away than what I'm taking a photo of, anyways. Already, I don't like it super up close. Yeah, to what I'm flying. Mostly because I took a photo of one thing that I would have never gotten with if I didn't have that zoom on the Mavic 3, because I was, I don't know, maybe not a quarter. I mean, maybe a quarter mile might be a little pushing it. Yeah, it was probably about a quarter of a mile away, maybe almost, from what I was taking a photo of. And with the wide camera, it just would have been terrible. It would have been way too pixelated to zoom in, digitally zoom in on it. So for me, if I'm starting out with no drone and I'm looking at the Mavic 3 Classic or the Mavic 3, I'm getting the Mavic 3 for that. Although when I do video, I only use the wide camera, so it's, that's where you go in with how which is a great camera. There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, for me, because we have the Mavic 3 Enterprise, and the zoom on it, you can get, digital zoom, you can get up to 56 times the zoom, and you can see a lot. You can see a lot on there. So to me, on the actual Mavic 3, I don't really need the zoom on it. So I like the classic option. But again, just different price point for different equipment. If you want to have less equipment, and if you want the one thing that almost does it all, then you still need the Mavic 3, the regular Mavic 3 with the zoom, because that will definitely give you a lot more capabilities and saves you a lot of headache of flying close to things. But like I said, if you are constrained by budget and you just want a better camera than, let's say, your Mini 3 or your Air 2S, then to spend less than $1,400 to get the Mavic 3 Classic and have the better camera, have the weight, have the better maneuverability, handle in wind, all that flight performance, then it's a great option to go for the Mavic 3 Classic.
I think this is probably the third time I brought it up. What are they going to do with the Air 3?
Oh,
it's this is the Air 3. This right here is the Air 3. What would you upgrade from the Air 2S?
I mean, I can't imagine what kind of features or camera they will put on the Air 3, right? That really distinguishes, really fits between Mini 3 and Mavic 3 Classic.
It already kind of has that camera. I mean, maybe a little bit larger, maybe a little bit more pixels. I don't know. So yeah, for some people, zoom is a must. If you zoom is a must, you have to get the Mavic 3, the regular Mavic 3. If zoom isn't a must, or if you're just looking for a really good video and stability, the Mavic 3 Classic is fine for you. But there's I think I mentioned in my review of the Mavic 3 Classic, there's one thing that I can think of that the Air 3 could add that this doesn't have, and that's vertical video.
But you have Mini 3 Pro for that.
Yeah, here's the thing: you have to make your you have to stretch out your reason for it, because the only way I can think of well, if a business wants a higher quality vertical video that the Mini 3 doesn't offer, if you want higher quality or whatever, you would get the Air because that has a better camera and is vertical. But
so if we step back for a sec, right? If we step back for a sec and then look at DJI's drone lineup, I have to say they're doing a good job at trying to cover everything, right? They're basically trying to say, well, if someone's buying a drone, they're making sure that they have no reason not to get a DJI drone. Doesn't matter what budget range, what camera quality, right? That's what they're trying to do. I mean, if you look at every drone from DJI, they're trying to fill up all the gap.
Do they still sell the Mini and SE and Mini 2? So I think they still do.
They still sell the Mini 2.
Okay, not the Mini SE.
I can't remember about the SE. And then the question also is, are they still manufacturing it versus are they still selling it?
Yeah, right? That's true. That's true. Because
and we're still waiting for what rumor has. There's supposed to be just a Mini 3, no Pro version, right? Yeah. And that's supposed to be the one for pairing up with Mavic 3 Classic for those that are budget constrained. So that's basically the next tier, like the lower tier, you can pair up together.
Yeah, so if you're like, let's just look at it, they still sell the Mini SE for $299, and then you go up the Mini 2 for $449, which is of course this is USD, of course. Why would you go anywhere else? Like not even like Husband or like what's the other, like there's a few other like more like budget friendly like knockoff of DJI drones pretty much. Like they just look the same, which I think just goes down to like aerodynamics and weight and whatnot. The DJI got it right on the head. Like why would you go with them when you can just go with DJI and get like the better, like,
well, you can't rationalize you can't rationalize consumers, I guess.
Yeah, you can't like, it would just be like, why, like it's just like that price point just makes it, yeah. I mean, to spend like $50 more and you would get like, a DJI drone, and then versus something like something else. Husband might not be happy me saying that because they're supposed to be sending me a review unit for something, but sorry about that.
Well, you know what? Like I said, the overall Mavic 3 Classic would like the performance, right? Mm-hmm. Without the telezoom, it still works great. The cruise control feature is great. So really the question to everyone who's looking to buy a drone is you've got to decide how much you can spend or you want to spend. And then just looking at price range, you can't really go wrong with any of the drones. We can always say, yeah, if I throw in an extra $100, I will get the better one. But you can keep going. Like that's an endless loop. You can just keep going down that route, and then before you realize, right, how much you're actually spending on your gear.
I don't know why someone just called me, but I can't answer the phone right now. I think they're telling me to remind me to check out. But one last thing I want to talk about, which is a good segue to this, is Mavic 3 Classic versus Skydio 2.
I feel like it's a very different comparison, because if you compare the camera, definitely Mavic 3 Classic still has better camera. But Skydio
After Track 5 is really good compared to Skydio. Like it's not as good.
But I do like the Skydio especially when you're flying inside or close to objects. I do like that it maneuvers, obstacle avoidance is much better.
Well, if you're just talking about someone who just does like mountain biking or something like that, you just need some of the track you while you ride your bike or you go down a mountain on a snowboard. Like we have a video of a publisher doing a side-by-side comparison between the Mavic 3 and Cine and the Skydio 2. They do both do a pretty good, just as good of a job. And then also the Mavic 3 is, you get everything DJI offers. So like it's kind of hard to say no to the Mavic 3 Classic.
Well, you know what? We were flying in the Olympic training pools last week, and that's when I actually said to the client, I said, we'll try Skydio. I think if you're flying inside, right, especially in that type of environment, I think Skydio may be a really good option. So again, just different tools for different environment, different jobs. Mm-hmm. Along the news for Skydio, we'll finally have some more updates from Skydio. They're about to release their autonomous drone dock. So if you looked at our coverage or Kirk's coverage from Airworks, you see that DJI, the DJI dock system. And from Skydio, they announced this, I believe, so they announced this first in 2019, and now they finally have a release date, which they will unveil it on December 7th, 2022. So we're talking about just in 3 weeks. Very similar to what DJI has or any of these autonomous, drone box system would have. So on the event, they will talk about details on, the progress. Especially what's important is they will talk about from regulation perspective, because this is beyond visual line of sight. Mm-hmm. So a little sideways into the other Skydio release is they are introducing new service to help you get the FAA waivers. I guess that's pairing up with their Skydio dock, because if you want to fly this, well, not so much flying at that point, if you want to program this So the drone would come out from the dock and fly, pre-programmed missions, comes back, charges it, uploads the footage to cloud, etc. Then you definitely need beyond visual line of sight. I mean, essentially at that point, we're trying to remove the pilot, right, from flying the drone. We're trying to put everyone behind the computer system. So that would be really interesting to see. I mean, if it's a one-stop shop, it will be the first time we're seeing a manufacturer giving you the equipment as well as solution from regulation. That's going to be rare.
I have one thing to add. One thing to add from this, right, to this. If I'm flying the Skydio 2 Plus, how do I extend the antennas so I can fly further?
Wow, that's $1 million question. This Skydio.
If you look at the photo, like that's a really compact, it's like it's supposed to be the size of like a carry-on suit luggage, so it's super small, which is great. But I can't open up my antennas.
For modification, right? Not much room for modification. Well, okay. So my question
I got this nice new drone because you can only buy the Skydio 2 Plus now. You can't buy the regular Skydio 2, so you have to. It's the same price, I think. Or
that's why my question is, when is Skydio 3 coming out?
where it's built in and like they're automatically motorized, they pop up. Is that what?
Just would be nice to have a major update. It has been a drone that's several years old, right?
Mm-hmm. It is like but I guess 4K 60, I think, right? Like video.
Yeah, but it's more about, I find it's more about software handling and, like you said, giving a little room on further improvements if they do any accessory add-on, extender for the signal, etc. Right? You can't do much on the 2 Plus right now.
There's some things there I think to improve on, and I think also. The app has nothing to do with the drone. That could be used. They could use the excuse for the Skydio 3 to update the app, like be waiting to do it or something like that. The only thing would be like for video wise, especially if you're talking about action video, because Skydio 2, like Skydio has gone so far away from consumer, and they don't really seem to like worry about the consumer side that much anymore. But like that's kind of like the perfect thing for this. I mean, it is like it's biggest.
I think they should. I feel bad that they're almost abandoning that market. They're not paying too much attention to it.
Yeah,
but there's still the demand for it.
There's still a demand for it. That's like the biggest thing again, like that Skydio has over DJI is that their tracking is so good. Like with their beacon is like phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, we were just talked about like ActuTrack 5's catching up, but there's just things about Skydio that like does better. So like having like added like 4K, like 120, maybe 5K 30. I don't know, like adding just those extra options.
With any company who's gone military or defense contractor, they pay too much. It's hard to go back. It's hard to look at
someone who worked with the DoD. Right? They pay so freaking much, and your consumer stuff just goes downwards, because it's not just because you get so much money from the DoD, and then also you hire a bunch of people to support your DoD projects, and all of a sudden, if you try to like your consumer products aren't going to have to keep on focusing on DoD. Like that's like the whole thing that goes on to this. So
I mean, we can just go on and on.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll keep posted on December 7th.
See like this. Yeah. This does seem like it's going to be if they do a demo.
You're actually getting cut off. Getting cut off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's move on to the last story. If you are looking at traveling from Manhattan to New York International Airport, then in 2 years, you may be able to hop on an air taxi to do that. So we're finally seeing a flight route being announced to operate between Manhattan and Newark Liberty International Airport. And this potentially could be the air taxi you can ride. I think that would be interesting to see, right? To actually have a route planned and see that service in motion. Okay, I think we're losing Kirk there for signal. Yeah, you're back.
No, I'm here. No, I'm here. I swear I'm here. I swear I'm here. No, so it's a super cool to see Archer kind of do to kind of come in here with United to see this kind of thing pop up. It's 2025. That's like right around the corner.
And I'm trying to go to the actual Archer website. Where is Archer? Let's see Archer. Okay, there we go. Are you still there, Kirk? I think we're still losing you.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
With about 20-second delay.
Okay. Let me see if I can leave and rejoin. Maybe that'll work.
So if you're interested in knowing more about Archer, I find the design of the aircraft is interesting. So you can see the different propellers. I suspect this is going to be a VTOL, and then it converts to fixed wing, which makes it a lot more efficient. And obviously, just with more motors, then you have the redundancy as well, right? So that definitely helps with safety, because I'm not about to jump on a drone or unmanned, air taxi without knowing that it has some kind of redundancy. Okay, let's see if we have Kirk back. Oh, there we go. So this gives us a little more look on, what your air taxi ride may look like.
Am I not delayed now?
You're good now.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Hey. Yeah. So I don't know how much you talk about. I was here. I heard everything. But yeah, no, so 2025 is like right around the corner, which is super awesome. For general aviation.
Are you gonna be one of the first person to write this?
We had this conversation in our Slack channel, and it was like, yeah, we'll set up publisher out, because he lives in New York. We'll just set up publisher out for the first demo flight, and then I'll go on the first production flight.
So we'll
and then
keep
Bruce
you
has been doing a lot of our
when any of our
he's in Paris, and we'll fly him over into New York.
So I guess we'll see when our team gets on the first one to write. We'll keep you posted. So back to stories this week. We've covered the Mavic 3 Classic, and we also moved on to talk about Skydio updates, as well as the new flight route you may try in 2 years between Manhattan and New York Airport. So stay posted. We'll be back here next week with more drone news. Have a nice weekend, everyone.